Hi, I'm Simon Oates Storyteller, and in this video I'm going to share with you the 5 ways that great stories can help changemakers to inspire action. But first, who do I mean by changemakers? Well, if you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you lead a non-profit or social enterprise, or you champion a grassroots cause, and you're struggling to get the impact you need in presentations, in meetings, with fundraising, on social media or videos, or even with staff engagement. So I'm going to show you how great stories can help you solve these problems by telling you the story of how when I was 19 years old, I set my face on fire. So that's a true statement, and I am going to tell you the story, but right here is the first way that great stories can help you. When I told you I set my face on fire, your interest probably kicked up a notch as your brain released the neurochemical cortisol, which is triggered by a perceived threat, and cortisol focuses our attention. What this means is that in presentations and in meetings, people will put down their devices and they'll lean in. They'll forget all of their other concerns and they will really listen. Back to the story. So at 19, I was training to be an actor because I love stories and I love performing them for people. But it's a very competitive industry and I quickly figured out I was going to need something to set myself apart. So when my mate Nick mentioned that he could teach me to fire breathe, I thought, here it is. A few weeks later, one night, Nick came over to my place with a bag full of gear and we went out into the backyard and he showed me what to do. I took a mouthful of liquid petroleum, I raised a burning fire stick in front of my mouth and I gave a short, sharp burst which turned into an awesome fireball which the wind picked up and blew back onto my face. Well, fortunately, Nick sprang into action, took off his jacket, wrapped it round my head to extinguish the flames, and I ran for the bathroom to fill a sink full of cold water. So right now, you're probably thinking something like, come on, you fool, get to a hospital, and your brain is secreting adrenaline, which is basically getting you ready to act. When you share the right story in the right way, your audience's brains are primed for action, and you can direct that impulse wherever you need to, towards offers of help, donations, partnerships, whatever. So eventually I got to a hospital where I spent a weekend on strong painkillers. And on the Monday morning, my mum came to pick me up and take me home. And as we were walking out through the foyer, we saw a small girl with her mother. And the little girl took one look at my face and she recoiled in horror behind her mother's legs. And the reality of my situation came rushing in on me as I thought, oh shit, how bad is my face? So now you may be recalling your own experiences of shame, fear, alarm, and feeling a sense of empathy, and that's your brain releasing the neurochemical oxytocin, which is associated with empathy, bonding, and trust. This means that in meetings and presentations, you'll build rapport and connection more quickly, people will find you credible and trustworthy, and they'll be more willing to take a risk on supporting you. Well, I spent the next few weeks in bed wondering, how am I going to be an actor if no one can bear to look at me anymore? And that's when I started to think about how I might use my love of stories and storytelling towards positive change in the world. And as for my face, well, it never fully healed, but it's amazing what they can do these days with latex. No, just kidding. Now ask yourself this. Do you think you could recall this story for someone else? I'm willing to bet you could. The research has shown that the way our brains create memories is in the structure of a story, which means stories are ready-made to slot straight into our memory banks. And that means that when you share your message as a story, it stays with people long after you leave the room. And when we hear great stories, it's human nature to want to share them with someone, which means your messages have a much higher chance of going viral. So there you have it. Great stories capture attention, create empathy and trust, are easy to remember, get shared, and prime our brains to take action. But wait, there is a caveat. Not all stories are created equal. If you want to inspire action, then you need a story that speaks to your audience's values and concerns, that delivers your message through the action of the story itself, and is crafted using the 6 elements of great stories. If you need help with this, then you can start by checking out the resources on my website, sign up for my online course, or even just get in touch and let's talk about how I can help you to inspire action through great stories.